Welcome to Lights, Camera, Cash, the podcast where creativity meets cash flow. I'm your host, Nicole Sellers, and I'm here to help you unleash the superstar within and turn your creativity and charisma into a money-making machine. Today, I have Deanne Gustafson with me. She is an Amazon influencer. She works from home full-time, creating product review videos for Amazon as well as UGC content. We're going to dive deep into how to get started and also how to make a full-time income while balancing freedom and flexibility. Hey, Deanne, good to see you.
Hey, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, so tell me what has been going on in the content creator economy. Things are changing so quickly. First, you got started with, I want to say Upwork or Fiverr. I believe it was Upwork. Then you went on to the Amazon influencer program, but things have changed so rapidly over the past 1 to 2 years. Talk a little bit about how you got started and where you're at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It changes day to day in the creator space, as you know very well. So got started with Upwork and was doing a lot of UGC. Just like you, I was a former TV news reporter and anchor as well. So I feel like it's very natural to be on camera and want to be a spokesperson for different products. And I love doing product stuff or just brand, stuff. So that was very natural. I love doing that. I also live sell for a fashion boutique. So I still do that once a week. And then I got into Amazon in January 2022 and realized there was a lot of money to be made there and it was fun. So I hit that hard and I've done that full time now, almost a year, I think over a year and a half. Yeah. So that's been amazing. And that's always a roller coaster too, because Amazon changes stuff on us like day to day. But that's kind of my bread and butter. And then I do a lot of UGC as well.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the Amazon influencer program. Like, how did you even get started with it? And is it hard to earn a full-time income? How long does that take? How long did it take you to get there?
So my ramp up was actually really fast once I started using it the way it should be used. So I joined it back in 2020. I was live selling for a fashion boutique and just wanted to get better at doing live shopping. And Amazon has a live program for shopping. So that's kind of how I got into the program. I did some Amazon lives. I made like 25 cents. And I was like, what is the point of this? But I'm not going to give up yet because, maybe it was like a bad, I don't know. It's like maybe I didn't do a good job on my first one. And I did it again and it was like 50 cents. And I like tucked the program away because I'm like, I don't understand this program. And then I joined a Facebook group where they were talking about these shoppable videos, which are basically product review videos. And that's when I started doing those in January 2022, and the money started hitting the account. So within about 6 months, it was like more than a full time. I mean, the income was better than I ever made as a journalist. So
Oh
that
my
was
gosh. And coming from that world, I think there are a lot of reporters and anchors who are listening in right now because they're looking for a way out of the industry for so many reasons. And I think primarily it's because they weren't getting paid what they needed or what they felt that they were worth. And I'm sure you agree as well. It takes a really long time to earn a really good income as a journalist. So something like this is really enticing for former journalists. I always say like the former newsies are looking to get out and do something new and creative, but they don't know where to start. So not only the Amazon influencer program, but even just getting on freelance sites like the Upworks and the Fivers. Do you find that was a really good way to just break in and get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Fiverr, I'm still figuring out. I haven't quite mastered that one yet, but I just started looking at that. But all of them, the hardest thing is just you have to have that entrepreneurial mindset where you're growing a business and the beginning is going to be slow. Whereas, like, if you're used to your 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck, that's going to be gone for a little bit till it ramps up. And you just have to be okay with that. But the perks are you work from home. You can just be in your pajamas till 12, drinking some coffee while you're like editing stuff. It's really, really nice to have that flexibility.
Yeah, I think you touched on a really, really good topic, which is being okay with the unknown when you jump into a business like that, because there are some months or weeks that you might not be earning an income at all and you're just building your brand. And I always look at it as an opportunity to grow and to build, not necessarily earning anything, but you're earning the credibility and the authority in space. So, like, knowing that it's not going to be steady in the beginning, and that's okay. But how were you able to kind of build up to the point of a full time income? Were you taking on a lot of different jobs, or were you able to secure something pretty, pretty significant in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I take on a lot of different things. And that's kind of the freelance life. It's like you'll have an awesome client that you work with and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "Okay, we're going to stop." And
Yeah.
it's not because of you, it's just their budget ran out or they need a pivot or it wasn't as profitable as they hoped. So I don't want to say I got lucky, but I had some like really cool ongoing gigs and
Mhm.
those were amazing. So that was like awesome to have that. I got to the point where I was actually turning most people down on Upwork for freelance because I was like, I'm too busy. I have too many projects to
Mhm.
decline. And I kept raising my rate too, which was like a beautiful thing. Like I do recommend kind of starting a little low, maybe even undervalue for what you're worth, which is such a bummer, but you got to start low and then you gradually increase it as the demand grows. And I've and then now, so now Amazon is kind of messing with our videos a little bit. They're not as seen as they were like 6 months ago. So I am looking to do more UGC. So I kind of look at it as like, how many different things can I do to just earn the income I want to earn? And sometimes it means I'm doing more freelance, and sometimes it means I'm doing more product review videos.
Yeah, and I'm curious about the UGC content because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there of what exactly it is, and is it product reviews or is it just taking a product or talking about the product? It's not necessarily a review, but maybe it's something in a more creative way where you're just kind of storytelling with the product. What is it, and what's kind of the difference between a UGC content video and like a product review video?
So, in my experience, UGC can mean a lot of things. So, it stands for user generated content. And
Mhm.
what that typically is like when you're on scrolling your social media and someone's talking about something and they're like, stop the scroll. This thing's amazing. I don't know, whatever they do to like get you to stop. That's kind of what it is like. Almost like a review, but a lot of the UGC that I get offered to do is scripted. So I'm really kind of reading their script. And there are a lot of times where it's like a dilemma in my head where I'm like, oh, do I really want to give a testimonial when I have not used their product, longer than like a day or two? So usually I ask to see the script first, make sure it's something I'm comfortable talking about, and then go from there. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I did one for a restaurant company about a service they offer to other restaurateurs to help them out. And it's one of this, a friend of mine was like, I see you on TikTok all the time. And I was like, really? Because I'm not really on TikTok. And then she's like, yeah, the restaurants. And I was like, oh, yeah, like that's not even my own TikTok.
So that's such a good point to bring up too, is you have to be comfortable knowing that your image and likeness are going to be floating around cyberspace. So
Mhm.
this is very different than a lot of other jobs, especially like union jobs, where your image and likeness are so protected in the way of what you're getting paid. You might get residuals or royalties depending on the job, but this is a very different beast. This is something that you are. This is like a buyout. They're
Yeah.
paying you a fee, you're recording the content, and they can do whatever they want with it. So I think that's important to kind of go through that.
They will probably be using it for an ad. So, which means you're going to be seen a lot, but it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily benefit you in the sense that like no one's going to reach out to you to be like, I want to book her. Like, there's no way they can contact you. It's just like a one time fee, at least for me when I do these.
It's a
But
one time.
I don't want to say they're simple, but like they're kind of simple. And that's what's beautiful about it is like the restaurant one, they literally wanted me in front of like a restaurant walking and talking, which is I'm like kind of embarrassed to go to like a public place and like be on my phone and be like, so I would do it on like a Saturday morning when I knew no one would be there because that restaurant didn't open till 11 a.m. So I would just go and it'd be like me and like a random janitor. They would look at me like I was crazy because I'd be on my phone, like, walking and talking and doing another take and then, just knocking out a script because they would
But
have
I
like
feel like
three.
in this day and age, everyone's kind of used to seeing that, right? Like people dancing around with their phones.
So not a big deal. But I was like, I could do it when nobody's there.
Oh my gosh.
The end of the day, it's like, is that like an award-winning video? No, but it
No.
totally served the purpose that they needed. So that was good.
Yeah. I wanted to jump into AI. Artificial intelligence obviously is here to stay, and either we can be completely freaked out by it and try to fight it, or we can find a way to incorporate it into our everyday content. How have you been using it, and have you enjoyed or actually seen results from using it thus far?
Yeah, so the first thing I jumped on was Chat GPT, and I just use it on my desktop. I haven't like figured out the phone style of it, but I use it like every single day. I use it to help me write my titles for
Mhm.
my videos on Amazon. I use it YouTube, write me a description, give me hashtags, give me titles. And I don't go verbatim of what they say. I just like use that as a guideline to help my brain like come up with things. And 9 times out of 10, Chat GPT writes something better than I would have written, to be honest. Because sometimes by the end of the day, after I've done like 10 videos of products, my head is like burnt out of
Yeah.
like creative. So it's so awesome that it will do that. And you can use it to like write you an email, like write me a pitch email for blah, blah, blah. Like it's amazing what AI can do. And I really think we don't even know like what all is going to come out. The other thing I just started using, and I'm on a trial of this, it's called Opus Clip, and it will take your like a YouTube video, let's say that you shot in horizontal, but turns it into the vertical with the captions. And it just like makes it simple. I just have always been like, how can we get something that will take a horizontal, but like actually center you? Because a lot of times you're off center. And it will also, you could put down, like, if let's say it's a 5 minute video, but you just want a 30-second thing, you can put like the length of time and it will clip it to what the AI thinks is the best, like 30 seconds.
Wait a minute. So you could record like a 5-minute video and you can request it to clip out 30-second clips out of that 5-minute clip without you having to edit it?
Yeah, and it's
Got
not
it.
always a bet. I don't know. I've kind of played around with it where sometimes I'm like, this is out of the park, you did it, and sometimes I'm like, I have to re-edit the edit. But it will give you like a score and it will be like your hook was good, your call to action was good. I was like, wow, like this AI is like on it. So that's
This
kind
is
of
called
cool.
Opus?
Opus Clip. Yeah, you can get 30 days free. So that's what I'm on right now. I don't even know what the pay amount is. But just something to, yeah, to repurpose your videos. And the hardest thing for me is trying to keep up with putting things on YouTube, but then making it for vertical. It's like, I don't know. Something that could do it all would be amazing.
I'm sure it's out there. We have to find it. And I
Another,
feel your, yeah, and I feel your pain because I feel like for creatives, it takes the time to not only prep something, record it, then edit it. So it's like the pre and post production. If you could have just one piece of content repurposed in like 10 different ways, that would be a miracle because you're spending hours for one, it could be 2 minute, 3 minute clip, whatever it is. So for you and your schedule, how are you shooting so much content? And I'm sure it's not a quick and easy thing for you all the time. Do you have a set schedule that you kind of work with, or do you just kind of pump stuff out as it comes in?
yeah, kind of both. So weekdays are the days I have my kids at school, so I am knocking out content. Some days I'm just editing though, so it kind of depends. Like I'm not shooting every single day. And then, yeah, I have a list of like all the products that have been sent to me. Those have deadlines of when I need to turn it back in. UGC content tends to want a faster turnaround. So that's something to keep in mind. My Amazon stuff, I can delay like 2 to 3 weeks to give them back a video. UGC is usually 2 to 3 days. So I have to make sure like my schedule is fitting all that. And I will film on weekends too, especially if it's like a family product. Things that involve installing, I make my husband do that. So I'll film him installing because it will take me like a month to install a ceiling fan and he could do it in like 2 hours. So
Love it.
it's kind of a team effort.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about like traditional hosts would have reels, right? And now that everything has changed so quickly and everyone is looking at very specific types of reels or something that's very customized to what you do, are you submitting things online to potential UGC employers or are you just like, "Hey, look at my social media," which by the way, you don't need a ton of followers at all. Like you could have a couple thousand and be doing just fine. What are you sending to them?
So I usually send clips. I do think people, and this probably goes for like the test of time, people are lazy. Like they don't want to have to jump to your social media and then jump to
Right.
this. So if you can have one clip or two clips that really show everything, There's actually a site, and I haven't joined it yet, so I can't give like a good referral about it. But I think it's called Ecom Videos, and it's a new UGC that's popping up, and they asked me to apply for that. So it doesn't pay a ton. I think it's only like $80 a video, but I did a real quick video of like, hi, I'm Deanne, and this is what I can do for you. And then they just emailed me and said, can you add in B-roll that shows, the different clips? And I was like, oh, that's going to take time out of my day, but yes, I can. So I think that's what they're looking for. They want to see you on camera talking, but also show some clips of you with like a product, some B-roll.
Okay. Yeah, I was always curious about that because I think a lot of times when you're jumping into like a new space, you wonder like, do I have to customize it specifically to this project, or do they want to see some of my news clips? Do they want to see some of my hosting clips? So I think having everything in one place is essential. Showing that you can do the job, whatever you're submitting for, is essential as well. So yeah, I just think having different sets of clips or videos is only going to serve you for the better. So I love that
Yeah.
you said that. And the other question I had was with respect to the Amazon influencer program, when you started to get really, really big, what did you find kind of was I guess like that transitional point where you started to make the money? Was it the shoppable videos you said in the beginning? And like, how long did it take you to get to that point?
So definitely shoppable videos was what made me the most money and still does to this day. I also do affiliate linking. So that's where you can share out your link, and I'm growing that side because Amazon really wants you to grow that side, which makes sense. You're bringing people to Amazon. So I'm working on that. But I would say within like 3 months, it was decent. Yeah. It was pretty
Oh my
fast.
gosh, that is fast. Walk us through the approval process because it's so bizarre that some people I know will not get approved and they will have a ton of followers, and people with sometimes a lot less followers will get approved right away. Do you have any idea how that even works, the approval process? Or you were approved pretty quickly, right?
I was approved, but that was years ago. Remember, I started in like 2020. So they don't tell us, they won't tell anyone. And I think they do that purposely. So I don't know if it's based on like engagement and a following, or if it's just a following, or what their reasoning is. But I know you can keep trying to apply. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
just keep trying to apply. And then what do you find is the most lucrative out of everything that you've tried and done since you started your business? What do you find to be the most lucrative that every month you're like, oh, thank God I started doing this?
I mean, Amazon for sure, for sure. It's been like a huge blessing in my life. So,
Yeah. I know a lot of people that are trying to get into it, they'll get approved, but then they kind of fall off the wagon where they're like, oh, yeah, I got approved. But now the next step is creating videos and then jumping into the shoppable videos. Do they give you any sort of guidance on what type of videos you need to be creating? Because I know that there was some sort of a rule that it was 3 videos. They had to approve it before they would upload it. Is that how that works still?
so that still works that way. So once you're approved, that doesn't mean you're automatically making money on your review videos. You have to have your 3 approved. And those 3 are really important. So you don't want to upload like 20 while you're waiting for your 3 to get approved, because like all 20 could be denied. It'd just be a waste of your time. So you just want those first 3. And I always recommend like keep them really like safe products, nothing. What I say by safe is like no medical, like nothing like that could get you rejected, because their AI will reject your video really fast. And they have to be nice quality. So if it doesn't look like it should be on Amazon, Amazon's going to deny it there. Now it doesn't have to be like perfectly produced, but it just has to be like some good lighting. And if you don't have that inside, like go outside then and make sure you can be heard. And yeah, you just got to get those 3 videos approved. And then once you're on there, now you can earn money from people shopping on Amazon.
Yeah. And I think I saw somewhere, I think I read or saw a YouTube video of another content creator that was talking about the Amazon influencer program. And he said something like, don't use certain words in the videos because they'll get denied. So something like, I highly recommend this product and the price is like
Yeah,
something about,
nope,
don't say anything about prices. Don't say
no price.
anything about like I don't know. There were like some like specific words that you shouldn't look at or you shouldn't use in the process. But I just thought it was so interesting that because they use probably AI to scan everybody's videos, they'll be pulling out certain keywords of like what not to use. So that's definitely something that I need to be looking into.
couple tips into that. So, yeah, don't say price ever. I avoid saying like affordable or even inexpensive because what's affordable to you might not be to someone else. So I just like avoid price. If you can even avoid like numbers, I would say just don't even say a number in your video because the AI might think you're talking about a price. And then if you're doing something with swimming because it's summertime, make sure like if you're a guy wear a shirt. Like AI will reject men with that are topless, which is so funny. Women you're probably okay, but like nothing too risque, obviously that would get denied. And then kids, if your kids are in the video, if they're in swimwear, like the sleeve kind of board short look is going to be approved easier than like a regular swimsuit. And then if you're doing a kid video, which I wouldn't recommend for your first three, there's just too many rules with kids.
Mm.
But you have to be in the video if your kids are under 12, even if it's like your hand. What else? Don't say things like I did a compostable bag, like we compost, and it was denied for, I think it said medical, which was so silly. So you can't say compost. So I have to say like eco-friendly and like green waste. So it's just like little words that they don't want you to say.
Green waste. Interesting. Okay, because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what are some of these words that I probably shouldn't be using? Or and it's things that you would never think of, like
You never
compost.
think,
Like you would think compost would be a
right? Like such a positive. So like I would just say like do something so safe. Like even though it's like a pen and that would be kind of a silly video, but it's like the safest thing. Like you can show how it writes. Like there's nothing you're gonna say that's gonna get denied in that. So something you can do that's a demo that seems like kind of safe would be good.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what's one thing or one actionable step that someone could take today to really enhance their on-camera presence with UGC content? Because it's a totally different beast than just like hosting or home shopping. It's just a different category altogether. So how did you really get used to it because you came from the news world? How did you make that transition? And what's something that someone could do today?
Yeah, I would say if you're coming from the news world, like take all expectations down a notch. They don't that it's like they don't want it to be poised and perfect. And I feel like every single time I submit my UGC content back to a business or a brand, I like hold my breath because I'm like, oh, this was not my best work. Because we in our head, like our bar is so high, right? And I always hold my breath, and then they're always like, "This is perfect. This is exactly what we want." So it's not that it's easier because you're still doing it, but it's just like the bar is different than the TV news world where everything was like so structured and perfect, and yeah.
Yeah. What about backgrounds? Because I know a lot of people get very hung up on what is my backdrop going to look like? Do I need different backdrops? So, how do you really approach that when you're shooting a ton of different content? Do you go in different spots in your house, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I do different spots. I mean, I would start with a conversation with them, with whoever's hiring you, and just say, usually they'll let you know, but if they don't, do you want it outdoors? Do you want it an office setting? Do you want just the home? And then whatever's behind you, just make sure it's like clean. Like even if you literally are in like a corner of your house that just doesn't have clutter, because if you have kids, there's like stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
You could also put on the cinematic mode, which kind of blurs the background. I sometimes do that, and then that can work too.
Oh,
So I
that's
think
a
just
really good. So, do you mean portrait mode? Is there a cinematic mode on your phone?
there's a cinematic on my phone. Yeah. I think it might be the same as portrait. Let me see. I'm
Do you
looking at it.
have, so what do you
I have,
have? Do you
I have the iPhone 14. So
have,
that one has a video in cinematic mode. I think portrait's just a photo.
okay, because I will blur out with portrait mode for photos, but I didn't know
Yeah.
video would do that either.
Yes. So there's a cinematic mode and it just that beautiful video and it makes your skin glow.
Like you learn something new
But you have
every
to be
day in this business.
when you film with it though, like I've done some product stuff and it's kind of difficult because it will sometimes blur the product as you're moving it. So that I found doesn't always work. But if you're just going to stand and talk, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, you probably have to keep it front and center. Because
Yeah.
even when I shoot off a laptop and I do portrait mode, yeah, there's some stuff in the background that's blurry. So like right now, I have it in portrait mode and it blurs the background, but like around my head, sometimes it'll blur a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But it
that's
does
a
give a
tip.
nice filter.
I know you have a great filter. I'm regular studio lights right now.
And I was just saying the other day that I wanted to buy the softbox lights, the newer softbox lights. And they are so bright that for me, the natural light, it's just too much. I kind of like that amber glow. Do you find that when you start to create videos that there is one preference over another when it comes to lighting?
I mean, I always feel like outside is like some of the best lighting you can get. So that's my like go-to. But inside, I don't know. I have the box lights and like a giant ring light, and that works pretty well for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the dimmable. I always find that like the dimmable needs to happen because the softbox lights that I have are not dimmable, but my ring light is. So I'm like, I need to
Well, the
some.
big thing too with lighting, and I've started to work on this myself because I noticed some people just have really bright, beautiful backgrounds. And I feel like on Instagram, I was like, why do I always look so dark? Like I'll film it and it looks light, but by the time I put it on Instagram, somehow it's like a dark filter, I think on their own
Oh,
stuff. But
interesting.
it all depends on your camera, I think. So I'm using my cell phone, which is the latest iPhone at this point, but I think they're using fancier cameras. So I don't know. Sometimes I think it's the camera you're using.
Or it might be when you're I don't want to say transfer, like if you're downloading or uploading it, maybe that transfer kind of
Something.
degrades the quality.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
I was like, okay, so Instagram, I had heard if you edit in Instagram, you have like a better chance of them like promoting it. So I did that. Full reel, edited in there. And it looked great. And then when I hit share, it like completely darkened it. And I was like, what happened? So I don't know. Some things I feel like are either beyond my control or I'm just like such a amateur hour.
No, well, you're not because you're earning a full-time income,
Yeah.
doing all the fun stuff that we all want to do. What was like your best month ever, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh gosh, probably December of last year. It was a killer month. So it was the holidays. That was like my first time like through the holidays. And with Amazon and freelance and everything, I think it was like I have to look at my number because I don't want to throw out the wrong number. Hold that thought.
That's the
Hold that thought.
reporter in you. You're very
I
accurate.
the wrong one. I don't want to overinflate it. And then people are like, I hate when
We won't
people
be
lie.
checking your books, Dan, I promise.
Right? Well, the two numbers that are in my head are quite different, so that's why I wanna make sure I'm not
Oh,
giving
you're
you the
so funny.
I can't
Because
even
we always think about Prime Day and then like holiday time. And
oh,
now is
here,
like yeah, go ahead.
Prime Day is good. Yeah, no, Prime Day is really good. Okay, so my December was almost $12,000 in 1
Wow. See, like this is the perfect time.
amazing, like, that's
Amazing. I mean, what would
amazing.
you have to do with that, for that news? If you think about it now, so we have September, October, November to really like get on the ball right now. Like, let's like get for other people to kind of jump into this. And I know that you offer private coaching for the Amazon influencer program. So if people wanted to reach out to you to kind of get their, get the ball rolling with getting approved, number one, and then number two, just making sure that all their ducks are in a row before the holidays, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So probably on my storefront, which you can put in the show notes, that's my Amazon storefront. It has all my socials and it has my email. So just go over there, pick the social you want to send me a message on, and then make sure you follow that Amazon storefront. Because if I can get more followers, I can get to what's called A list, and then my lives will be seen more. And then my Amazon live could potentially be another avenue of revenue for me. But yeah, I know I would love that. I love helping people, especially I do a lot where people have either had their first set of videos rejected and you only get two more times and then you're done. So I will like watch their videos, give them feedback, and then help them get those next set so that there is zero chance that they get rejected because
Yeah,
that's
I'm all about doing it right the first time. So we'd love to have you. Yeah, we'd love to have you back at TV Hosting Academy too, because that workshop was so well received. Everyone's minds were just like blown. Like I didn't even know this was possible. And there are so many steps to making it in the Amazon influencer program that a lot of people don't have the time or the energy to waste. Like you spent years figuring this out and cracking the code, like you said. So if you guys want the shortcut, or if you want to speak, reach out to Deanne directly. Oh my gosh, please do reach out. So is there anything that? Yeah, go ahead.
was going to say Amazon's going to do October Prime Days. So you have another reason to really start getting your stuff put in there because October is like around the corner.
Oh my gosh, I really need to get on it. We keep saying that this is going to happen. We're going to make it happen. Mark my words. And I'm going to get approved. I'm telling you right now. I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm getting
Yes.
approved. Real quick before I let you go, the Amazon Associates program, I know that you didn't need to like kind of go that route, but is that something that you find a lot of people get accepted first and then once they kind of get their content out there, then they're approved for the influencer program?
So Amazon associates absolutely get on that and start like sharing like a crazy person. There's more commission to be made on it, which is great. And then B, I think it helps your videos that are Amazon shoppable videos rank a little bit. Now I don't have any actual proof to that, but Amazon sends us like weekly or not weekly, probably monthly newsletters, and there's so much of them. It's not even writing on the wall. It is like just straight up written, like do this,
Yeah.
and then I see what the other Amazon influencers are doing with their affiliate links. I mean, they're crushing it. Like me saying it's exciting to make 12,000 a month, which it is. Like, don't get me wrong, that's like beautiful. They're probably making like 100 grand a month. Like they are crushing it,
By
and that
sharing all their links on what? On their newsletters, on their socials, on everything.
so yeah, like if you can get a big following and share that stuff, they're making so much money. And
Oh,
then they're getting invited to Amazon private events, which look really cool, and I'm
what
super
is
jealous.
that?
Yeah,
Share.
Amazon does these. If you follow Amazon influencer on social media, they'll share these like they do these private events for like their high earning people who are doing the affiliate side, and it looks pretty awesome.
Looks
And
pretty awesome.
yeah. So, they're making good income, they're making Amazon good money. It's like a win-win. So that's kind of my goal. That's like what I aspire to. And I'm in like stage one where I'm like, okay, let's
And you've been
niche
at it a long time though.
a long time. I feel like I've mastered the shoppable videos, but me mastering social media, if I'm being like super vulnerable, it's like it's a challenge. Like I don't know. I missed the like class on it. And even though I've try to learn on my own, maybe I need a coach. I don't know. But
It's hard. No, the social media thing. I'm with you. I've been consistent on social media for years and I haven't broken probably 2 or 3 thousand at all. So I'm like, and it's funny because I always try to focus on just putting the valuable content out and I'm like not worried about how many followers I'm getting as long as the ones that I have are engaged and loyal. And that's been serving me. So hopefully one day we'll crack the code together and try to figure out what the whole social media situation is. I don't know.
I'm right now my YouTube's growing, so I'm like focusing on YouTube. So I'm like, there's
Yes.
opportunity. But
Very
yeah,
smart.
if anyone has tips, you can feel free to reach out to me and
Yeah,
give me.
same. Social media people. That's what we need. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on with me and sharing all your tips and strategies for Amazon influencer program. So we'd love to have you back and we will see everyone next time. Thank you, Deanne.
Bye. Thank you.